To you.
Good morning, Joya.
So probably the biggest message for any new and old investors that your stock price is up 140% between 2009 and 2010, up 30% since last year.
Yes, it's on a roll. We've actually gone up 150% the last 2 years, and we're up 30% year to date, primarily because of our growth. We're growing. I think the first quarter we had 26% organic growth and 35% growth overall. So the world's definitely looking for these technologies to revolutionize medicine, and we're on that forefront.
Tell me exactly what it is that you do.
Basically, we look around at different industries for disruptive technologies, and we find a way to bring those technologies into life sciences or into medicine and utilize those technologies to help humans live longer and with a higher quality of life. And so we're focused on diagnostics, and we're also focused on new drug therapies. And our technologies are used by all the large pharma and biotech companies, as well as academia and governments, to basically innovate the next generations of medicines that really we think will allow people at some point to live to 150 and be playing tennis at 120.
So one of your biggest things, though, is personalized medicine.
That's correct. What we've learned over the years, especially with the unlocking of the human genome back about 10 years ago, is that each of us are very different. And so medicines work on us very differently. Unfortunately today, the fourth leading cause of death in the United States is side effects to drugs. But the key now is to understand how each person is different and then make these drugs and tailor them so that each person gets the benefit of the drug without the toxicity and the safety downside of the drug. So we're really excited there's that new balance that's being created, and our technologies are playing that really important role to make that happen.
Just to make it a little more granular, let's say somebody has lung cancer. And how do you sort of tailor that medicine for the particular kind of lung cancer that they have? Well,
there's a great new drug, for instance, coming from Pfizer. They've bypassed phase 2 and they went straight to pivotal trials. It works for about 5% of non-small cell lung cancers. And that drug called crizotinib, if you have the right genomic makeup, that drug will actually work for you and potentially completely cure you of drug cancer. But what you have to do first is determine whether your particular cancer has those mutations. In this case, it's what they call an ALK gene mutation and M4 mutation of the ALK gene. And so there's a test that you can take it, and it will determine whether or not you have that gene and that mutation. And if you do, it's a good thing because this drug will actually potentially be the thing that will save you.
How new is this?
These are all very new. I mean, today there's 14 different drugs that the FDA has approved that have these companion diagnostics that only work for the people that pass the diagnostic test. We expect, though, over the next 10 years, there'll be hundreds of these drugs. There's already, I think, 57 of them that the FDA recommends that you use a companion diagnostic before you take the drug. But the future, we think, is going to be very bright in this area, and that's where most of our technologies are focused around the growth that we expect to have happen in this area of personalized medicine, both for the companion diagnostics and for the therapies that will help each of us individually.
So for a historical perspective, before you had what was called a blockbuster drug.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people a couple years ago said that personalized medicine is going to send the blockbuster drug to the path of the blockbuster video, meaning it's going to go away. But unfortunately, and really fortunately for the new approaches, is that 4 of these companion diagnostic drugs actually are blockbusters today. So even though they're stratified and only work for 1% of the population based on a genomic makeup, they still are large enough that they are over $1 billion. In fact, one of them is over $4 or $5 billion. So the promise, we think, for personalized medicines is still going to allow blockbusters to occur, but most importantly, we're going to really start to stem the tide of all these failures of humans actually having side effects and toxicity and death sometimes due to side effects by having drugs that really will work for you and for you personally. So we're really excited. Someday you'll probably have an iPad and an iPhone that will have all the different genomic makeup of you in it, and you'll have to be able to correlate any drug you take to make sure that it's going to be safe for you. So that era is getting ready to march in, we think, over the next 10 years. So it's a really exciting time for medicine.
But that's got to be really expensive.
It is expensive. You know, one of the things that's been interesting is that we've done a lot of studies that show that if you do stratify the patient population early on with what we call biomarkers, that would be maybe the protein that's in one person that maybe isn't in another, or a genomic biomarker where the mutation's different. If you really do the stratification early on, you can actually get a drug approved sooner, into the market faster, and creating returns for investors much quicker. So we actually think that in the long run, personalized medicine will pay off, and will pay off big for those that are in early. And we're really not the company that's mining the gold here. We're the company that's making the tools to mine the gold. So we're going to win no matter what company wins at personalized medicine based on the way we've built our infrastructure, and our technologies have the reach to all of these companies. So we're really excited about where we play, the risk profile where we play, and the opportunity for Caliper and its investors.
What kind of market opportunity are you talking about here?
Well, we think that our market right now is over $2 billion, and just 5 years ago, before we did about four or five acquisitions, our market size was only 100 million. So we've 20-fold our market size, and we think that market is growing double-digit. So it's not surprising that our growth has now, in the first quarter, gone up to 26% organically. And we think the future is going to be at least 15% growth annually as we continue to build out these technologies in a market that's very robust. And we're still a very small piece of that market. So it's going to be big.
Well, my sense is that you service several underserved markets, and genome sequencing is just one part. Yeah,
it's interesting. When you look inside of personalized medicine, one of the fastest growing categories is what they call next-gen sequencing. So it's not the traditional sequencing that was done in the old days where you look at just one gene. Now they're looking at the entire genome of a human. And they can do that in less than a week, and someday we think it'll be done in less than 4 hours. And we make all the preparation of the sample from the point that it's taken from the human to when it goes into the analyzer. And that's really the big bottleneck. We think the bottlenecks are the preparation of the sample and also the informatics to run what the answer is from the actual analysis. And so both of those ends we think are going to be very robust for the next 5 to 10 years.
Right.
And we're focused in on a complete solution for the sample prep and making sure that those samples that go in are the most pristine. And as sample sizes get smaller, because humans don't like to have tumors removed from them, they would rather have just a needle aspirate. Those sizes of the samples are going to be getting smaller and smaller. Our technologies can multiplex. They can run many different tests on a smaller sample, so we do more with less.
Right. What about preclinical imaging? I mean, you're able to kind of cut down on the traditional reliance on animals, right?
That's correct. We actually take the light gene from the firefly, and this is a disruptive technology, and we incorporate that light gene into cancer cells right in the mouse. So simply by taking a picture of the mouse, you can determine exactly what the state molecularly is inside the mouse by the light that comes out. So our mice glow, and many times when they glow, it's a very good thing for human health in the future. Someday, we actually think that each person will have their own personalized mice that will have these technologies built into them, and their immune systems and some of their issues built into these mice, so that experiments can be run on the mice to ensure that that particular human gets the best personalized treatment. So someday, we actually have a vision that there'll be personalized mice that every human will have in order to make sure that they stay healthy in the long term.
What kind of food do you think a mouse is going to need for that?
Well, obviously investor food is always good, so a little bit of funding always goes a long way. But the reality is that we don't have to kill many of these animals with the way we run.
You don't have to euthanize them and then do the biopsy. You can do this in real time.
Just by taking their picture, which is really quite cool. And by the way, if they ever escape, you can also see the mouse running around even at night because they're glowing.
Right. Okay. So how much is Washington affecting your work?
Washington is important. I mean, I think we're at a moment where the FDA is trying to reinvent itself because companion diagnostics and therapies are coming together.
Right.
And so that's a new complication for the way the infrastructure of the government has traditionally looked at medicines and looked at diagnostics. And now that they're combining, there's a lot of movement afoot to reinvent those policy-making groups, and we are seeing a lot of great progress, but it's important to continue to train and teach and inform these groups around the importance of getting these medications to patients. We have people dying every day that are really just basically trying to figure out what new medicine could work for them, and as informatics start to improve that information flow, it's critical that these drugs get approved very rapidly.
But from a funding standpoint, what about the NIH? Don't they provide a significant amount of funding?
Yes, the NIH is a big funding source. For our company, we're probably only about 5 to 10% of our revenues are extracted from customers that are getting NIH grants. But it's going to be a growing component, we think, in the future as our technologies start to revolutionize the different aspects of personalized medicine. And right now, there has been some constraints on the NIH funding. Governments around the world right now are constrained on spending. But the key is that it's not how much you spend, it's what you're spending it on. And what we have found is that a penny being spent on the right technology is worth thousands and thousands of dollars, and comparing it to the waste that can be done by spending money on the wrong technologies. And so when you really create technologies that can predict what's going to happen in a human, you eliminate a lot of the waste of the previous years where you might have done a lot of testing just for throughput and efficiency, but yet the results you got didn't predict what was going to happen in a human, and so that's really wasted. It looks great when you're running those tests.
Right.
The test per, the cost per test is so low, but then in the end, you don't get the drug that you need.
Right.
So we were honing in on highly relevant tests at low costs, and that combination we think will allow a penny to be spent versus thousands of dollars and get a lot more return because it's the right technology. So that's our focus, and within NIH I think it's becoming obvious that our technologies have great versatility across many of these categories that we've been talking about for personalized medicine.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Good luck to you. I know
Well,
you're
thank
ringing
you so much, Joy.
You're ringing the opening bell today. That's the CEO of Caliper Life Sciences, and I'm Joy Doss. That concludes our signature series today.
Good morning, everyone. We're extremely pleased to welcome Caliper Life Sciences and the company's president and CEO, Kevin Hrusovsky. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to the members of the management team and all our distinguished guests to NASDAQ. We're excited that you could join us as we get set to ring today's opening bell right here from Times Square, the crossroads of the world. Caliper Life Sciences is a leading provider of cutting-edge technologies that are revolutionizing drug discovery and development and are enabling researchers in the life sciences to create life-saving medicines and diagnostic tests more quickly and efficiently. Caliper Life Sciences has a lot to be excited about. The company has enjoyed over 100% increase in the share price over the past 12 months and continues to set highs not seen since 2004. Congratulations. And welcoming Caliper Life Sciences President and CEO, Kevin Hrusovsky. Kevin?
Good morning. We are Caliper Life Sciences, and we're here, and we're honored to be here, standing to ring the NASDAQ bell. We're representing 500 global Caliper employees and their families, many of whom are watching. Caliper rocks!